Kristen, the cross-stitching runner, and welcome to my channel. I want to say a big hello and welcome to all new and returning viewers, and if by chance you've stumbled across this channel is all about cross-stitch with a bit of life stuff thrown in. And with this particular episode, I guess based with the title that you're hopefully seeing as well, I'm mostly catched up with all of my stitching, but I could also do with a bit of your help as well, because I'm at a stage where I'm feeling a bit uncertain about whether to continue with this channel or not. So I could really do with some of your feedback in the comment section. It would be absolutely awesome. So I look forward to hearing your comments through the comment section and all the rest, and yeah, we can go from there. So I guess let's get into the stitching, because as I mentioned, I've got a fair bit that I would like to share with you to catch up on and all the rest. There has been a bit of life stuff going on as well, which could be why I'm feeling a bit meh with things. And with that in mind, the first project that I'd like to share with you is one that I've been working on intermittently, and it's become one of my travel pieces. It's a piece that is a free chart on my website, which is hotcrossstitching.com.au, and it's also on my Etsy store by the same name of Hot Cross Stitching, and it's called, oh, I really should know the name of it off the top of my head, but it's a free chart. I'm finding the cover for it. So it's called I Count My Lucky Stars, and this is what it will look like when it's done. So this particular saying, I count my lucky stars every day that you are in my life, it's a saying that I did on a regular basis when I created the chart, and one that I am still regularly trying to remind myself of as well, in terms of just counting my lucky stars with regards to my boyfriend Michael, where I think he's just an amazing person. And this is where I'm at with this piece so far. I've been stitching this on 28 count linen and using a variegated silk called Water Lilies, or the brand Water Lilies, and it's the Tequila Sunrise edition, and the colours are just looking so cool. And I used this piece as part of a travel piece when I went up to Sydney via the train last weekend. Michael and I went to see the AFL, which was really cool. We have been to see the AFL before, but we were, I guess, hoping to or planning to be able to go and see the Sydney Swans, a team that we're both supporters of, because for my birthday, Michael had purchased some membership tickets for he and I, and life happened. We hadn't been able to get up to Sydney to go and see the Swans play in terms of any of their home game matches until last weekend. And so I thought, look, it's going to take us about an hour and a half to get up to Sydney via the train, and I thought that I'd make the most of that time and do a bit of stitching. So I was able to finish off the letter M for Mary, and I definitely got the letters IN done, and I think I got the start of the letter E for elephant started, and it worked out pretty cool. And stitching on the train, it just helped to remind me that everyone is just so focused on what's going on in their bubble that no one was really worried about me stitching on the train, and it was all cool. So no worries at all. So I'm looking forward to getting more work done on this one. I think I might have gotten about 300 odd stitches done, and yeah, I guess that sort of equates to the hour and a half there, hour and a half back. I didn't stitch the full way, but it was really nice being on the train, just not having to worry about Sydney traffic. There is just something about Sydney, the way that its roads are, that in my headspace is like, no, I will not travel Sydney roads unless I absolutely have to. And the train that we took was directly from Wollongong right up to Central Station. We didn't need to worry about changing trains or anything like that. So that was really, really cool. And I guess with the next lot of stitching that I have to share with you is all to do with the AFL stitching challenge. Okay, so the first bit of stitching to do with the AFL challenge is Water Tigers 2. This is a piece that has been hopefully a focus piece for me over the last few months at least, because if you've not seen any previous episodes, then this particular piece is one that I'm doing for my best mate. She absolutely loves tigers, and this one I had started working on, I guess, several years ago before I guess I moved up to Wollongong, before I moved up to Wollongong, but this would be over 13 years. We're probably talking nearly 15 years ago that I started this project. This chart is by Kustom Krafts, and I think this chart may still be available on their website. And this has a mixture of confetti and solid stitching, and I'm stitching this on what I think is 18 count even weave linen, and I'm on the last page, so I'm just working on this section here, and I'm about halfway through the last page. And the great thing with this particular challenge that I'm doing is that we're in round 23 of 24 rounds of just the regular premiership. After next weekend, there'll be a week reprieve, and then the top 8 teams are going to have like knockout rounds of finals, similar to the Women's World Cup in soccer, where once the teams reach the finals, it'll be like almost like sudden death kind of stuff. So with this particular chart, I've been using it in connection to a team called the Richmond Tigers, and unfortunately they've not made the finals this year, but I'm still going to try and focus on this particular piece as much as I can, because I really want to try and get this done by the end of September. If all goes well, I should have it done by mid-September, so that way I can take a bit of time to get it framed up and I guess set up in a way that I think my friend is going to really enjoy. And the significant change that I've done with this piece is the eyes. So as a comparison, this piece has been charted to have amber eyes, and I've chosen to have the blue eyes. And the main reason for changing it up is my mate. She loves the whole blue-eyed tiger side of things, and I think Kustom Krafts have a similar chart to the water tiger one, where it is called the blue-eyed tiger, and she has stitched that and it looks absolutely stunning. So that was the inspiration behind that one. And I have recently put 101 stitches into this as a minimum. It has been a little while since I've worked on it, so here's hoping life is kind and I can get some work done and get this finished. So we'll have to wait and see. The next project that I have to share with you, unfortunately, I don't have a cover page for it. Last time I travelled to Canberra, I had best of intentions to pick up the magazine that this next project is from. Completely forgot. It went like through one ear, out the other, nothing registered in between. And so, unfortunately, I just need you to trust me on this one, that with midnight hours, this is going to look really cool. So I've started to put some back stitches with this little aisle here, just to try and give it a bit of definition, and hopefully I can start getting some back stitching for this main aisle here, and that way I don't have to go back and do any of the back stitching once the piece is done. So with this particular piece, over the last few weeks, as part of me catching up, I've put a minimum of 159 stitches into it. I don't really count the back stitches as any kind of tally, so we'll just have to wait and see. Okay, so 12 Days of Christmas. This is the next piece that I have to share. So 12 Days of Christmas has featured heavily in our stitching challenge, or the last 6 months at least of this particular channel. So thankfully, with 12 Days of Christmas, I've attributed it to the Sydney Swans and the St Kilda Saints. I have, to some extent, attributed it to a team called the West Coast Eagles. They are very much at the bottom of the ladder. They're almost the wooden spooners of the league this year. So that's where I haven't really mentioned too much about that team. However, the really cool thing with 12 Days of Christmas is that I'm like this close to getting it done this year, and I really hope that I can get it done. Getting it done this year in terms of by the end of this calendar year. So this particular design is by Rhona, Norrie, and it's out of the Ultimate Cross Stitch Christmas edition. It's the 2018 issue 19 edition, and as part of the way that it's been charted and designed and such, this is what it could look like if I stuck with the shopping list for it. And it looks really beautiful on the navy blue, dark blue fabric. As we can see, it's got the metallic thread for the border that's being backstitched. The letters or numbers, sorry, letters and numbers, big difference. They're backstitched using the gold metallic thread as well, which could be Krynic, it could be the DMC metallic thread. I have both. However, I have done major personalizations for this particular chart, partly because when I first decided to stitch this project, I didn't have the navy blue fabric, but I had this in my stash. So all of the back, not all of the back stitch, but all of the full crosses, half crosses, quarter stitches, and all the rest have been done. And I've done, I've started on the back stitch. So starting at the top is where I've focused on the last few weeks. And over the last few weeks, I've put 114 stitches into this, which is why I've been able to get all the main crosses and everything done. And I've made a start on the back stitch. And what I'm going to do is, with the back stitch for the numbers, they will be in the metallic thread, but the actual back stitching for the border around the project will quite possibly be the darker amber yellow that we see for the rings that are near the number 5, mostly because I have done many projects with the metallic thread, and it was a really good learning curve, and I found that I can tolerate the metallic thread and the Krynic in very small doses. The project that I had worked on, you should go and check out my blog, which is also the Cross Stitching Runner, where I've talked about some of the projects that I've worked on in the past. And one of which is, I think it was the Fairies Garden. I can't quite remember the exact name of it, but I had chosen to actually use a lot of metallic thread in that project, and I felt like I was still learning a bit with cross stitch, and I learned that as beautiful as it is for using metallic thread, the amount that I used it was like, it was just too much for my patience and tolerance. So I learned that I will only use it as embellishments rather than doing like the wings and all the rest. And that's the thing, like the thread was really good for certain wings, and the wings could be good for like dragonflies and that kind of thing, but that's probably about it. That said, the next piece I have to share with you is Fight Like a Girl. So Fight Like a Girl has been designed by Tanya, Amity, and it's based on an illustration by Elena Zhnedkova, and the the bookshelf is looking pretty cool. I think I may have come across this chart on Etsy before I looked on Heaven and Earth Designs or anything like that, and found the amazing variety that we have there for bookshelves and that kind of thing. So this is what it'll roughly look like when it's done. So I guess I've been focusing on the middle there where, who do we have? We've got from the Wizard of Oz, Toto, and the blonde-headed character that I can't remember the name of right now. I'm so foolish. Anyway, this is where I'm at so far with Fight Like a Girl. Surprisingly, only 99 stitches that I needed to put into this over the last few weeks. And it was actually, I think, a lot sooner. It was on Friday that I needed to actually put 124 stitches in because the Brisbane Lions, they won their game. And the Melbourne Demons, they are due to play this weekend. And I don't know if they'll win or not. Hopefully they do, because it'll be good to put some more work into here. I've been stitching a lot with the thread colour DMC 931. I'm getting a little bit over 931, but it'll be worth it. It's all good. It's okay. But it'll be nice when it's done. I'm looking forward to getting the back stitch done on this one. I guess similar to 12 Days of Christmas, it's in this particular case, the back stitch that really will make that difference and really highlight just how cool all the different characters are on this piece. So that's that. I guess it's been 100 or touch over 200 stitches that I've put into this over the last couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks, something like that. Okay, next piece, Midnight Glow. Midnight Glow is by Kustom Krafts, and I'm really looking forward to this piece being done. It has been going on off and on for several years, maybe not as long as the Water Tigers too, but definitely for a while. So over the last few weeks, I've been able to get a minimum of 133 stitches done over the last couple of weeks, and I need to put an additional 91 into this. So this is where it's at so far, and I have been focusing on last page here. Well, not last page, but I'm getting towards the bottom of the page, and at the moment it's a bit hard to see some of the stitches because they blend in so well with the fabric. I'm stitching this on 14 count Aida that I've had in my stash for a very long time. At the moment, I'm thinking that when I do finish this piece that I'll most likely get it framed up and have it hanging on a wall somewhere or resting up against the wall if I happen to have it up here in Wollongong. I'm renting at the moment, so unfortunately I don't have the ability to put permanent fixtures up. I do have the ability to put those special sticky tabs that are on the back of frames. I have used them and do use them down in Canberra, but unfortunately I found that in some cases they stick a little bit too well, and there's a section of my wall in Canberra where it's taken the paint off, and I'm going to need a professional to repaint that wall, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. For the meantime, just getting Midnight Glow framed up. When it's done, will be absolutely awesome. So it's probably going to be a few years before I get Midnight Glow done, but hey, if Carlton keep playing the way that they do over the next few years, who knows, I might get this done sooner than what I think. Wait and see. The next piece that I have to share with you is one of my own designs. It's a hot cross stitching piece called Dewdrop Daisy, and this one I'm looking forward to getting done. This could be a feature piece next year. I know that last year it had been one of my feature pieces just to really get a lot of progress done for it, where last year I had used it as 22 in 22, so 22,000 in the year 2022. And that's where I was able to see a significant amount of progress done on it. And for any long-time viewer here, you would have heard me stressing a lot about whether or not I would have enough fabric for the piece, but I definitely do. It's all good. And so this is where we're at so far. And I've been focusing over on the shorter side over here, just to really try and round it out and get some more of the petals completed. And I figure I'll stitch to the bottom of the page and then start working across to meet up with the other side. And it's going to be cool. It will be really cool. This is definitely done on 28 count linen. The purple's actually purple that I dyed many years ago, and the fabric I purchased from a quilting and craft store in Mogo, or at Mogo, New South Wales, on the south coast. And I'm overdue for going there to see that store and get some more fabric, but I think Mittagong is calling me more than Mogo at the moment. So this piece, I have gotten a minimum of 134 stitches done over the last 2 or 3 weeks. This has been like a cumulative number as part of just trying to catch up. Fremantle are connected to this piece, and they I'm not anticipating them to win the next couple of games, and therefore I don't know when I'll next get to work on this piece, but we'll wait and see. Wait and see. The next piece that I have to share with you is a dictionary of dogs, and the Western Bulldogs have been doing pretty well. I've been working on the motif called dog ends, and I'm looking forward to getting the backstitch done on this piece, so that way we can really truly see the ends of the dogs. So this is where we're at. I've put a minimum of 126 stitches in this piece. So it's mostly the poodle end that is quite pale with the fabric. It's a Bothy threads chart. I'm using all of the called for colours, the fabric, kit and caboodle. So I think Bulldogs are due to play today. So I'm anticipating that they will win their game. And it'll be interesting to see how things go, because if all goes well, Sydney Swans will stay in the top 8 and they'll get to play finals, and wait and see. Wait and see. So, as part of waiting and seeing, the next piece that I have to share with you is a hot cross stitching design. It's called Black and White Rolled Up Daisy, and I'm learning a lot with this piece. I very much am. As a designer, I'm learning a lot, and thank you all so much for your patience with hearing me talk about this project and nutting out how it's working and not working and everything in between. So I'm stitching this on 18 count Aida. I did initially start stitching the background in full cross and then transitioned over to tent stitch, and based on how that's going, I may need to transition back into full cross, at least temporarily, while I get some of the mistakes that I've made, or personalizations, not mistakes, personalizations, sorted out for it, because it has the ability to have an impact on the actual flower side of things. So we'll have to wait and see. But I think 18 count Ada has been a really good choice for this piece. It'll be good to see it done. And I don't know if it'll be a focus piece next year at all, but this piece has been connected to the team called Collingwood Magpies because their team colours are black and white, and they have done amazingly well this year. They're top of the ladder, if not second of the ladder. So it'll be interesting to see how they go come finals and whether they actually make it to the grand final, because it can be so hard for teams to be in good form throughout 24 weeks of playing, and then you have a break, and then you've got to fight really hard through the knockout rounds to try and get to that grand final. So wait and see. Okay, next piece I have to share with you is a Heaven and Earth design. It's called His Master's Voice Mini, or Mini His Master's Voice. It's based on artwork by Lisa Parker, and I absolutely love her artwork. This is what the artwork is, and it's looking really cool because I can actually I can definitely see the paw. Hopefully you can see what's going on here. So with His Master's Voice, I have put a minimum of 201 stitches in. That's a lot to do with the team Adelaide Crows. They have been on fire the last few weeks with the games that they've won and what their final scores have been. And so 201 has been like a cumulative score over the last few games. And last night was a controversial loss for Crows and controversial win for Swans, mostly because of some interesting calls that have been made by the umpires and such, where depending on perspectives, it looks like Crows should have won their game, but they lost by 1 point. I'm not going to complain, but I just feel as a supporter, like, I don't know if we should have won. I don't know. But that's by the by. This is where I've put 201 stitches in, has been mostly around this space here. So with this particular piece, I don't often do this with full coverage. I'm doing 2/1, so 2 strands over 1 fabric square, and I'm really enjoying the coverage that I'm getting, because if we do a bit of a comparison, hopefully the camera can pick it up a little bit. Near the top here is where I started, and this was just using 1 strand over 1 fabric square, and it was full cross, and I'm not happy with the DMC 310 coverage there. So I switched over to 2 strands, and I have not looked back. The stitches are a little bit bulkier, but I think it's worth it. I'm very much enjoying the coverage that I get, and I think the only tricky part that I'm finding with this is how I stitch. So it's a good learning curve all around, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the progress on this. And it'll just get boring when I start to stitch the background, because there's about 30 odd thousand of black stitches that need to get done. So we'll wait and see. I'm just checking the numbers here, just waking up the tablet. So just in theory, yep, 37,254 stitches in DMC 310. That's a lot, but the good thing is that it could be part of my travel stitching. So if it's just the background that I need to worry about in the 310, I don't have to worry about counting. It's just make sure the stitches look really good, and then I'm sweet. So we'll just have to wait and see how much travelling I do. That enables me to be a passenger to do the stitching. So we'll wait and see. That said, the next piece I have to share with you is a Dimensions kit. It's called Barnyard Kittens. This is, yeah, it's just a really cute piece. It really is. It's just cute. and this has been connected to a team called the Geelong Cats. And shockingly, but I'm secretly happy about, is that Geelong have not made the finals this year. The Cats, they won the grand final last year. They walked all over Swans last year, and they walked all over Swans during at least 2 of their games this season as well. And this is the progress that I've made as a result of the Geelong Cats doing fairly well this year. I've been focusing on the side of the barn door here, and it's been all tent stitch in terms of the panel that's here. And the difference with the way that I've chosen to do the counting for the tent stitch on this is that I've done this to the traditional way of counting tent stitches and such, where for the last few weeks, for example, I've had to put a minimum of 97 stitches in. And with all other stitching groups that I've been part of, or stitching retreats, they've said that if you're going to do tent stitch, in this case, if it's 97 stitches, double it, because you're only doing half the stitch. So therefore, you're doing half the work of doing a full cross. So therefore, to make it fair, you just need to do double the stitches. So just to make myself sane, I've gone, okay, I don't care if I'm doing 10 stitch or full cross, 97 is 97. I just want to get this done. So that said, Geelong did play this weekend, and they surprisingly lost. I was expecting them to win, but the team they were playing against, the Saints, they kicked butt, and it has meant that Geelong finished 14th on the ladder. With next round, they may be able to move up a little bit higher, but they're not going to make finals. So it's like, yes, I'm happy on that one. I'm very much happy on that one, because they're a strong team. They're a good one. So wait and see. Okay, next project. Mini mushrooms. Another one of my designs for hot cross stitching. And this one has been a labour of love to some extent. One where I've also been contemplating if stitching half the project is good enough in terms of near enough. I will probably be contemplating this one for forever and a day, and I'll potentially suck it up and go, okay, fine, I'll stitch the other half, and we'll wait and see. It might be a case where for the second half of the project that I might use Pattern Keeper instead of the physical chart, both of which are available on the Hot Cross Stitching website and my Etsy page. So if you're interested in a physical chart or a digital download, check out Hot Cross Stitching or my Etsy page, and hopefully you'll find what you need. And in terms of the actual project itself, this is where I'm at so far. And this is why I'm contemplating whether I stitch the second half or not, because of just how much there is to be. But then I also said that it's about the actual stitching process rather than the finished product. So we'll wait and see. So over the last few weeks, I have put 105 plus 67 stitches into it, and that's how I've written down in my notes, because with Hawthorn, I hadn't actually expected them to win one of their recent games, which meant that I needed to add an extra 67 to the project. So I've been working, I guess, left to right, right to left along here, and I'm putting a personalization into this chart or project because I've mucked up some counting and stitching around here somewhere, and so I need to fix it up a little bit and do a bit of fudging and that, because frogging's out of the question. I have become very friendly with the frog, and the frog has overstayed his welcome, so he needs to go. So that's where it's just like, good. We'll wait and see how things go for this. I think Hawthorn have played all they're due to play this weekend. I'm not expecting them to win because of who they're playing against. I don't remember who they're actually playing against. I just know that whoever they're playing against is a stronger team, and we'll wait and see. But as much as I'm sort of saying what I'm saying about this piece, this is being stitched on 14 count Ada, and it's got a really nice balance of confetti and block stitching. So that has been, I guess, one of the nice reprieves with this particular project. And I do love that it almost feels a little bit like a tapestry to some extent because of it being on 14 count. And I guess because of just how nicely I think the stitches have turned out on this. So it could also just me being a bit biased because I'm the designer of this one. So who knows? Who knows? So the last project that I have to share with you is called Pisces. So my printer ages ago when I was printing out the page, it was starting to die. So that's why the bottom of the page is looking a bit not great. But the picture and the quote are like two separate things, so I combined the two. And the quote is saying, Pisces, not everyone gets the same version of me. One person will tell you I'm a beautiful soul. Another person will tell you I'm a cold-hearted asshole. Believe both. I act accordingly. So it's yeah, I keep being in two minds about the quote. That said, I've attributed this one to Port Adelaide because of their team colours being um, this teal colour that we see in the piece, and it being black and grey as well. So this is where I'm at. I've put 136 stitches into this over the last few weeks, and my main focus has been down around where we see the letter A, and it's been really nice putting in some other colours that aren't just DMC's 3808. It's been really nice, and that's where I'm looking forward to spreading out just a little bit more with this piece. I'm stitching this on 28 count linen. Well, yeah, linen. And I'm stitching it 2/1. No, not 2/1, 2/2. And it'll be interesting to see how it turns out. This is just going to be whenever I feel like it kind of stitching when the AFL challenge finishes, and it'll be picked back up again next year when the challenge kicks in. So Port Adelaide are due to play today, and I am anticipating them to win their game. I don't remember who they're playing against, but I know that this season Port have been really strong with their games. So we'll wait and see. So that's pretty much all of the stitching that I have to share with you. Next up, plans. Plans. Okay, so we're getting really close to the end of the regular season of AFL, all the rest, the stitching challenge and all the rest. And since I've finished some projects recently, I'm I guess sort of itching to get into September and just focus on getting some more pieces done in terms of finishing them off, like the Water Tiger too. And also quite recently, like within the last week or two, I have purchased the stitching box for the fourth and last installment of the Gilmore Girls Stitching Retreat by the Black Needle Society. So that particular, I guess, event's going to happen at the end of March next year. And when I first pressed the buttons that I needed to do for purchasing the box and pressing the buttons that I needed to do all for that, it got me thinking, like, oh, I really need to finish off stitching Summer and Spring in Stars Hollow and getting those sort of finished up a bit, because I'd really like to try and be caught up as much as I practically can for that stitching retreat. And it's going to be bittersweet when that does end, because I've really enjoyed doing the online stitching retreats, and I think it'll be really nice to do an in-person one eventually. I'll have to try and find some close by in Australia, and hey, if it means that I've got to travel a little bit, then that could be a really cool adventure as well. And I don't know, wait and see. I do know that I want to try and get another one of my hot cross stitching pieces finished as well, because I think that's going to help a bit with getting some momentum on getting some more marketing out for hot cross stitching. And the idea also will be to knuckle down with getting some of my stitching classes sorted out. So, as a bit of background story and such, I started hot cross stitching as, I guess, like a supplementary income, and or as a passive income. That's probably the better wording. And I guess with having a full-time job, and also the last 12 months has been overwhelming at times, moving, changing jobs, um, anything in between, health things that have happened and all the rest, that I've really dropped the ball, and I'm needing to try and make that changed, because the universe, so to speak, has been giving me these little nudges, little hints, and pushes to say, hey, come on, you said you were going to do this. Why haven't you done it yet? Here's an opportunity for you. Here, take it. Come on, you can do it. So that's where a bit of the plans are kicking into place as well, where it's that those butterfly nervousnesses that are in the stomach of this seems exciting, I can do it, but then it's like, but my safety zone is right here. Do I need to? Do I have to? Um, so those scary plans of sort of getting out there. I mean, it's a bit like for everyone here who's watching who has done a Flossutbe episode or has got a Flossutbe channel, or if you've done anything similar to this, you may remember that, like, the first time you hit that record button, and then the first time that you hit that publish button to get the video uploaded, it's a scary thing, because you're not sure how you're going to get received, and you're not sure if it's going to go boom and explode in a positive way, um, and have it result in a way that you've never anticipated. And then it's like, okay, how do we keep this going? How do we keep that momentum going? So that's that nervousness of fear, and then the person on the shoulder, so to speak, going, being that reality check, or the monkey mind, as I've heard some people call it. Some good friends of mine saying the monkey mind is telling you that no, you shouldn't do this. You need to keep safe. You need to stay small, because being too big is not a good thing. And I'm not talking in the physical sense. Like, it's in Australia, we use the phrasing of tall poppy syndrome, where if someone gets famous, or they've got that big ego, that their head gets too big, the poppy syndrome, tall poppy syndrome, is that you lock them off at the knees, and just to bring them down a bit, to give them that reality check, to say, look, hey, just remember where you came from, and all that jazz. So it's those sorts of monkey mind things and self doubt that kicks in. So hopefully all goes well, and I can get out of the butterfly feeling and scary feeling that happens here, and say yes, thank you, and all the rest, and smile and nod to the monkey mind that goes on. It's like, okay, monkey mind, I see you, I hear you. I'm going to keep doing this anyway. So there's some of the plans that are going on to get some stitching done, to try and press a few more buttons in a positive way to get some things done for the background of hot cross stitching. And that leads me into the next section, and I guess a bit of the last section that I really need your help with. So I I just need your help. So that monkey mind, that fear, uncomfortable feeling in the center and tummy feeling, this is where I need your help. This channel that I've started, I guess a couple of years ago now, I know that I've potentially not been as committed to the channel as what I could be, and I feel like it's starting to flatline. And this is where I need your feedback. I could really use some help to find out if there's anything different that I could do with this channel to do with cross stitch, that kind of thing, that could help to improve this channel and sort of boost it up and give it that oomph and shove, so to speak, that it needs. Because with with my monkey mind, I get stuck on the numbers sometimes, and my world gets too small, and I focus too much on the numbers, and I'm learning not to do comparisons because comparisons don't help me at all in the sense of um, feeling down in that. So this is where I've talked a little bit about this on other episodes for this channel, and this is where I'm curious about some of the episodes, like the Flossutbe 2.0 episodes. Do you find them interesting? Would you like more of them or less of them? I guess I'm also curious about whether um, you're wanting more giveaways, or if there's anything about the existing charts that I've done, if there's some variations that need to be done to them, or if there's, I know I need to get some more up there because I guess variety is a spice of life in that sense, and having more to choose from can be a good thing, to the point of avoiding analysis paralysis. So, with this particular channel, I am curious about whether there's anything different that you'd like to see with this channel, or if consistency is something that is preferred. And it's at the stage with this channel where it's almost flatlining to the point of going backwards, which is a fear that I don't want to have happen. And it's something where I'm contemplating if I continue with this channel next year in terms of the next calendar year. And it's, yeah, a curiosity that I have, if there's anything different that you'd like to see happen with this channel. I would love to hear your feedback in the comment section for this episode, and I'll try and ask these sorts of questions in the next few episodes as well, in case people don't come across this episode, but they might come across future ones. So I know that I'd started this channel as a way of trying to promote and spruik hot cross stitching, and I, for much of the muchness, have been doing it passively by showing some of the different patterns and charts and projects and such that I'm working on, and then having things up on the wall behind me, like Flossutbe made me do it. And it's, yeah, just something that I'm curious about. I'd love to hear hear feedback, or if you don't have any feedback, but it's easier for you to click on buttons instead, then if you want to see this channel continue, I would love to see you hit that like button. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, but you've been keeping an eye out on the episodes that come through subscribe to this channel. It would be absolutely awesome. It'll help me to keep going with the channel and bring out more content, like create other content and that kind of thing as well. That said, if you don't have any feedback per se that you want to put into the comments, but you don't want to see this channel going on any further, then that's where, as much as I don't want to say it, the unsubscribe button. It's available for a reason. I know some people have been choosing to unsubscribe, and that's totally cool, totally optional, and all the rest. It's a choice that we all have. So that's totally cool. But I really do hope that you stick around for more episodes, and I'd love to see that like button being clicked on and seeing all the likes going up, up and up and up, and seeing lots of comments as well, and interacting with all of you. That would be really cool. That would be absolutely awesome to receive that feedback, to find out what sort of stuff you want to see from this channel, aside from me saying that these are the projects that I've worked on and these are how many stitches I've put into it, and that kind of thing. I would love to find out from you if that's all that you're interested in, and that if you're not worried about what projects I'm working on, or if you want to see me just working on hot cross stitching stuff, then that's totally cool as well, or anything in between. So please, I would love to hear your feedback on this, and I hope to see you again in a few weeks' time. Catch you later.